Dawn breaks over London on March the 18th, 2007. Zog and I have been awake all night watching the first race of the 2007 Grand Prix season. This is the fastest ever edition of Gareth Jones On Speed.
Gareth Jones On Speed!
It's something we've done for years and years and years, got up in the middle of the night to watch this race.
First race of the season.
It's all in the anticipation, isn't it? How is the anticipation for you?
There's a lot to look forward to this year, was, how it felt. I think looks like Ferrari and McLaren should have a good battle going on with Michael Schumacher retired. There's a really exciting field of young drivers competing for the championship, and set up for a really exciting season.
From the point of view of being British, there's a vested interest for us. We've now got 4 British drivers in the World Championship this year.
And one very exciting young driver in Lewis Hamilton.
Fabulous. Who we've interviewed on this programme.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Also, I claim a slight personal interest in Adrian Sutil, having interviewed him many times when he was driving for Team A1 Germany. First thing I'd like to say about the cars is they're even more dramatic this year because they've refined the crash structure stuff, and they're even pointier, and they've even more aerodynamic appendages than first appeared on the photographs of the cars for the release.
More little odd bits and pieces sprouting out all over the place.
Yeah, did you see that sort of mini stub wing on the Renault?
There's kind of sort of pointing forward, sort of almost like a canard wing,
yeah,
but rounded, kind of more organic sort of shape.
I thought it was kind of like a boomerang. They're in Australia and someone's thrown a boomerang and it's just got lodged in the
through
front,
the nose cone.
Just happens to work pretty well. And the other thing about the Renaults is I thought they kind of look strange in the pictures, but you see them on the circuit and they do look like Renaults. There's lots of yellow, black and white there. They look like old 70s Renaults. Great.
But the really striking look is the Hondas, of course, and they, this Earth Eco paint scheme that they've got going on. It doesn't actually look anything like the planet when the cars are whizzing around the circuit, but it does make quite a nice, abstract design. It's quite a, it's a pretty looking car.
I've got a theory though. They've got clouds on that picture of the Earth from space as well, right? I reckon those clouds are actually slowing the car down, which explains why Super Aguri were able to out-qualify Honda. They haven't got the clouds. They're not getting the drag. Poor old Honda, beaten by Super Aguri. Anyway, qualifying was exciting. To see Lewis Hamilton on 4th was very, very exciting. And no surprises at the front end, but disappointment for Massa.
It really looked like he could have the measure of Raikkonen and could actually be the quicker of the teammates. There were a lot of signs pre-season and in testing that Massa could be the quicker driver, but ultimately Raikkonen was quicker and Massa had the bad luck of the gearbox failure.
And the scene was set with Raikkonen on pole for the first Grand Prix of the year. We'll be back with our review in just a moment, but first, this about another event which has happened over this weekend.
Well, hello there, Eddie Jordan here. Happy St. Patrick's Day. And I wanted to say a big hello to all the Irish racing and rally drivers around the world. People like John Watson, Adam Carroll, Michael Devaney, Niall Quinn, even Ralph Foreman and Paul Tracy. There's also a couple on the Celtic fringe, so to speak. They're worth a mention as well. People like Innes Ireland and Damon Hill. Although I rather think Damon Hill's not actually Irish, simply Irish for tax reasons. Now, I'm very pleased to say, even though Jordan is not in Formula 1 anymore, there's plenty of Irish drivers out there. Oh yes, I'm talking about Nick O'Rosberg, Jan O'Trulli, Giancarlo O'Fisichella and Vitantoni O'Liuzzi. Now, by the way, I also heard in an upcoming edition of Gareth Jones On Speed, Kevin Rowland is going to be singing about Ireland's second greatest racing hero. Me! Ha ha! Not that Eddie Irvine. Now, that'll be worth downloading. Cheerio! Happy St. Patrick's Day. That's the way I tell 'em.
The race in Melbourne got off to a really tremendous start. The first sort of half a lap, I suppose it was, with Lewis Hamilton really showing
just
why he's in there. Yeah,
jumping around the outside on the first corner, and spectacular start, and really, right from the off, Raikkonen showed tremendous pace, and you just and to see Lewis Hamilton delivering on the promise that he held was just fabulous.
I was slightly disappointed that Fizzy and Kovalainen were unable to get a classic sort of Renault start. Those days seem to be over now, where the Renaults would spring off the line, and they did well. Kovalainen was really ragged, wasn't he?
He was all over the place. Yeah, I mean, there were a couple of times where it seemed like the car just got away from him, but other times he was just ragged, as you say.
I know we're doing this immediately after the race, but I think we'll find out in the next few days that Kovalainen had some kind of technical problem there. There's something not quite working.
You would have to be either that, or there was something in the setup. There was something. He would not be driving for Renault if that's how he drives normally. It was the car. But
we'll come to the big players in a moment, but let's talk about some of the other teams. Williams. Now, I know you watch Williams very carefully. Good race for Nico.
Very good race for Nico, and this is, Williams really need to have a good year. I think they've been, from having been a front-running team, they've been languishing a bit, and it was a reasonably promising start. If Williams are the Toyota B team, as Mark Webber said they are, for the B team to beat the A team, Toyota is pretty good. So fabulous start by Nico in particular, but let's hope that's a sign of better things to come for Williams.
But poor old Wirtz, who had a coming together with David Coulthard.
Yeah, which looked at first really just like a racing incident, as if Wirtz just hadn't seen him coming. But Coulthard, put his hands up straight after the incident when he was interviewed and said, it was my fault. I was just coming in too fast, and all credit to him for being so honest.
My prediction for the season: we're going to have a lot of argy-bargy with Wirtz. Do you know why? I think he's really desperate. He's waited so long to be given a full race seat. It's been a while since he's raced at McLaren, and he was always quite argy-bargy. I remember a moment with Schumacher at Monaco a long time ago when I think Wirtz was in a Benetton. And so he'll give no quarter. So, right, we'll watch Wirtz for the argy-bargy award for the season. That's my prediction. First car to spin off, though. Who was it?
It was Albers.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
It was.
Christian Albers in the Spiker. Shame.
Yeah, well, you're a fan of Spike, right?
Yeah.
You like having these underdogs. But what did you think of BMW in this race? Because they, after a very promising qualifying, they made it to fourth with Heidfeld, and Kubica would surely have been up there if he hadn't retired.
I am a card-carrying Kubica fan, as you know.
Well, you interviewed him last year
for the show. We he's quick, and he expects to be quick, and I think that's a mark of a racer. They fell off with gearbox problems, I think.
He was stuck in fifth gear.
Yeah, and Heidfeld, whose beardiness is overtaken Jensen's, obviously helped him. The beard helped Jensen last year, and Heidfeld's beard this year clearly helping him. They were doing well. Yeah, I think we'll see BMW Sauber nicking points from McLaren and Ferrari more than any other team will be, I think. That's the fight, I think, this year. It'll be the three big guys, Ferrari, McLaren, Mercedes, and BMW Sauber. I don't think we're going to see much of a challenge from Honda. I think Renault will be picking up the pieces.
Yeah, I mean, Honda got off to a terrible start. I mean, it just looks like, they've just got a very mediocre car there right now. And, there's not much that either Button or Barrichello can do with it. So
okay. Let's look at the podium then.
Raikkonen, what a spectacular drive. Didn't put a foot wrong. Qualifies on pole, leads all the way, barring pit stops. It looks like he's just settled in beautifully. He's just really happy in that car.
I'm surprised. I think I said this even on the show, that I think Massa had the march because he was the incumbent in the team. But that momentary slip already where he lost his position in qualifying because of a technical thing. And then to be outpaced by Kimi today as well.
Lapped by Kimi.
And lapped by Kimi. It may already be too late. Well done, Kimi. Congratulations.
Well, the way I see it is that Kimi is a quicker driver than Massa, no question. But if Massa is working beautifully with Ferrari as as he clearly can. Massa at his best, working with the team versus a Kimi who's maybe not quite committed,
trying to do it solo.
There.
Yeah.
Well, if he's maybe just not happy with the car or not happy with the team for some reason, and he is the new guy, in that situation, I think Massa can beat Kimi, but that's not what we saw today. So.
Fantastic stuff, but of course, one race does not a season make. But what a season it's going to be ahead, particularly with Alonso still being immaculate, and Mr. Hamilton there. How long before he wins his first race?
Ooh, I think he could do it within half a dozen races easily. It's possible. Right? I'll say half a dozen races.
So, score, Zog, finally, for the first race of the season. What would you give the score out of 20?
Out of 20, I think that's a pretty solid 18.
Yeah.
But as much for points of interest like Hamilton's first drive, rather than, if you like, for the pure racing qualities. I'm just kind of clarifying my 18 score there.
You've been listening to the fastest ever edition of Gareth Jones on Speed. I was Gareth Jones.
I've been Zog.
And it's nice to have F1 back. Say good morning, Zog.
Good morning.
Go and get some sleep, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's nice to have F1 back. And yes, there was some action out on the track. Kimi Räikkönen scored a goal, putting the Ferrari there on pole. BMW broke and Heikki spun, and little Lewis Hamilton made the podium. Birds went crunch as Coulthard crashed. Massa looked sad as Kimi flashed past. Well done, Ferrari, you didn't lose face. Well done, Kimi, you won the first race. You made the others look tired and knackered. They're saying, Kimi, you're the new Schumacher. You're the new Schumacher. And we don't mean Ralph.
Gareth Jones on Speed was a very fast production indeed for Wishbone.